The drama surrounding Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky has escalated into a full-blown storm, one that not even the most loyal fans saw coming. Once hailed as the league's next big star, the Chai Barbie walked into the WNBA surrounded by fanfare, hype, and a tidal wave of expectations. She wasn't just a rookie, she was a movement, a brand, and for a brief moment, the centerpiece of a franchise desperate for identity. But now, as the dust settles on another embarrassing loss, all that glitter has turned to grit, and the front office is no longer interested in fairy tales. The buzz started with whispers. Games slipped through their fingers. Layups clanged off. The rim. The scoreboard told a brutal truth. But it wasn't until Chicago Sky GM Jeff Pagliocca stepped into the locker room and named her that the entire narrative shifted. This wasn't a passive critique. This was a verbal detonation, and Angel Reese was ground zero. "We need more out of her," Pagliocca declared, blunt, public, and unmistakably intentional. The franchise that had once wrapped itself around her star power was now unraveling it thread by thread. It wasn't just the numbers, though, they told a painful story. 10 points on 35% shooting in 2025 versus 13.6 points on 39% in her rookie campaign, a noticeable drop. But what's more damning is the eye test. Wide-open layups turned into momentum killers. Missed putbacks became viral memes. The locker room, once a sanctuary of support, turned into a courtroom where every possession was cross-examined. And Angel, once the pride of the program, became the prime suspect. The GM's tirade wasn't a lone spark. It was the culmination of mounting frustration. Behind the scenes, execs and coaches had been dissecting her film like crime scene investigators. They weren't looking at stats. They were watching body language, decisions, missed opportunities, and more importantly, how her presence was fracturing the cohesion of a team that already had enough cracks. When a team would rather take a shot clock violation than pass you, the ball under the basket, that's not strategy, that's rejection. Fans noticed, analysts noticed, and Angel Reese noticed too. Yet instead of letting her game do the talking, she doubled down on media quotes and motivational mantras. "I put my head down and work every single day," she said. But effort is the bare minimum at this level. This isn't LSU. This isn't a TikTok dance break. This is a professional league where energy without execution is just noise. Meanwhile, comparisons to Caitlin Clark only fuel the divide. Clark isn't just playing well. She's transforming the Indiana Fever into a destination. Her stats soar while her demeanor remains grounded. No drama, no PR distractions, just buckets. In contrast, Reese is fighting headlines, internal tension, and now questions about whether she's even the second best rookie on her own team. Camila Cardoso has struggled too, but somehow the criticism laser focuses on Reese. Why? Because the brand outpaced the basketball. In a league still clawing for consistent viewership and credibility, image matters. But it only goes so far. And when that image starts to cast shadows on team chemistry, on court efficiency, and on the trust of veterans who've earned their stripes, management is forced to make decisions that hurt feelings, because feelings don't win championships. Insiders suggest Reese has lost support in the locker room. Not all of it, but enough. Vets are fed up with missed rotations, wasted possessions, and the exhausting task of shielding her from the blowback. One source claimed the team dynamics were fractured. High fives in front of the cameras, cold shoulders behind them. You don't need a PhD in body language to see the tension in slow-mo replays where Reese's post-ups are ignored in favor of forced shots from the arc. And yet, perhaps the most telling sign of internal decay is the silence. Teammates are quiet when asked about her leadership. Coaches pivot to general statements about growth and consistency. That's the equivalent of saying nothing. In sports, silence isn't neutral, it's damning. Even now, with the Sky at the bottom of the standings and hope wearing thin, some believe in her potential. They say she's raw, that her rebounding is elite, that she's still learning. But patience has a limit, and in the WNBA, where every roster spot is precious, learning curves aren't excuses, they're liabilities. The worst part? This all could have been different. The Sky leaned into the hype machine. They plastered Reese on billboards, fed her to media outlets, built narratives around her social media stardom. But somewhere between building a brand and building a basketball player, someone skipped the most important step: accountability. And now, the same execs that paraded her into the spotlight are whispering about benchings, trade inquiries, and contingency plans. That's not speculation, that's preparation. The clock is ticking and every missed layup speeds it up. There's no room for slow starts anymore. No more rookie grace. She's a professional now. The Sky isn't falling, it's collapsing. Under its own marketing. So where does Angel Reese go from here? She could dig deep, block out the noise, and transform criticism into fuel. She could shut everyone up with a breakout performance that reminds the world why she was worth the hype. Or she could continue spiraling, leaning into the influencer persona while the league quietly moves on. Because one thing's certain, Chicago has already started looking, not just for alternatives on the stat sheet, but for stability, efficiency, leadership, players who want wins more than headlines, and that should terrify anyone still rooting for Reese. In sports, the margin between stardom and stagnation is razor thin. Right now, Reese is teetering. She's not just being evaluated, she's being audited. Every mistake is recorded. Every eye roll is documented. And the goodwill she once carried like armor is wearing thin. She said it herself. The reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, it's because of me too. But if that's true, then it also means she's responsible when the viewership dips, when the chemistry fails, when the team loses. Being the face of a franchise isn't about being seen, it's about showing up. And right now, Angel Reese is missing in action, physically present, emotionally distant, and professionally on thin ice. The GM has drawn the line. The locker room is splintered. The fans have questions. And Angel Reese, she has a choice: evolve or exit. If you're still watching, ask yourself, should the Sky stick with Angel, or is it time to cut their losses? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on. The next chapter in this saga is coming, and you won't want to miss it.